Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Marketing Podcast, your source for all things marketing. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author in one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Chris Snellgrove on the line, and he's CEO over at Reputation Sensei. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Adam. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, Chris. So excited to have you on, and happy to have you on. I know you're one of our giveaway winners. Always love to do one of those episodes because I'm always like, and I can put the name in the face with the brand, and you have a great story to tell and a great brand that I'm excited to get into in today's overall topic. So how CX customer experience influences the success of locally based businesses today, and you're definitely an expert in that. So maybe just to get us kicked off, tell us a little bit more about the Reputation Sensei brand. So what was the inspiration behind this?
So, we wanted something that represented mastery when people thought of the brand. And in martial arts, the sensei is the master at the highest level. So when we wanted people to think of our agency, and our agency, by the way, is Digital Media Nation, but the brand is Reputation Sensei because we believe that every conversation in terms of digital marketing should begin with reputation. Until you have a solid foundation on reputation, that's where every digital strategy should start.
And so a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, executives listen to this show, and some are listening to for marketing tips and digital media tips, and some are in the business. What do you think are some of those important aspects of online marketing that a local-based business should know?
Well, first and foremost, a strong emphasis on your online reputation. People are judging you based on what they find online. So they're looking the services up that they're interested in the area that they're in. So one exercise that we always encourage business owners to do is Google the services that you offer in the area that you offer or that you serve. And, it's quite revealing, how competitive are you in terms of visibility, online ratings, number of reviews to your competition.
And
that's
so I don't think, and I think we both agree at this, like nobody's intentionally not, managing their online presence or reputation. I think sometimes people don't know. And I guess I pose it to you this way, like, every business is going to be different. They're going to have different wants, needs, of course, different founders, different levels of experience. But I also do know with working with as many clients as you have and just people on their reputation and on this management, that you see certain patterns that happen over and over and over again. What are some of those patterns that when you're onboarding a new client, you're just like, it's just one of those triggers like, knew that was going to happen. Like, what are some of those common patterns that you see that people are kind of dropping the ball on?
Well, it's interesting. If you don't have a process in place to generate good feedback, the only time you're going to get it is when people are upset. So that's when you look at different industries, you'll see like car dealers. We have a lot of franchise car dealers across the country. These guys live and die by their reputation, so they've been paying attention to it for a while. However, we moved into healthcare recently, a couple of years ago, and healthcare is a sector that is really just beginning to, tune into the fact that they have to pay attention to their online reviews. And I'll give you an example. I met with 4 OBGYN doctors, and I asked them, I said, would y'all eat at a 2.3 rated restaurant? And they said, no, of course not. And I said, well, would you stay in a 2.3 rated hotel? And they were like, absolutely not. And I said, well, why would you expect prospective patients to come here? Because that's your Google rating. And they were in shock. They didn't realize it. So this is an industry, the healthcare industry is just starting to tune into the fact that you've got to be paying attention to online ratings, because that's how people are making decisions now. We call it the new norm.
Man, that makes so much sense. Let's go further into maybe the difference between reputation management and reputation marketing, because I want to make sure that, especially for those that are listening that aren't too familiar with, if I may call it, the reputation space, they may not kind of get the differences.
Sure. Reputation management is the process of generating reviews, monitoring reviews, and even responding to the reviews. What we've done with reputation marketing is take that to the next level by really doing that, generating reviews, monitoring, responding, but also taking those reviews and creating marketing assets out of them and using them to build trust in the local area that you're the company to buy from. And when you do this effectively, it really gives you the competitive edge in the area that you serve and that you're competing for business.
And can you tell a little bit more about what happens potential-wise when somebody goes down this path? Because I feel like in the past, I think Amazon's maybe changed a lot of our minds in terms of ratings and things like that, and our own buying preferences. Like in the past, this wasn't like one of the top things that were on somebody's list. But in my opinion, like potential-wise, like this is a way to kind of leapfrog your competition in many different niches, especially like you just said, to use your example, the OBGYN example, where maybe the rest of the competition isn't quite paying attention to this yet. Can you talk on that a little bit?
Sure. I'll give you an example. I mean, we had a pediatrician that had struggled with generating reviews on their own. They had tried different processes and just were not gaining any traction in doing so. So they hired our firm. We put our specific strategy into play. And over an 18-month period, they saw a 1,600% increase in online reviews. We also marketed those reviews out via their website to help create more conversions, more people walking in the door. We promoted their reviews on their social media sites, which was expanding their brand in the area that they serve. And this resulted in a 60% increase in new patient counts the second year that we had this program in place. So
60%. Don't glance over that. That's not like this isn't some startup. This was an office that was already established, right? Like this is not a.
Oh yeah.
So just to be clear, like this is a brick and mortar functioning business that's been there, and so a 60% increase is phenomenal. It's not like an app where you change something and not discarding an app, by the way, but you know what I mean. Like it's not like an easy thing to get a brick and mortar to increase 60% on a service like this.
No, and they were already doing a phenomenal job with the patient experience. So, you know, their patients loved them. They just weren't really broadcasting that. And so we allowed them to broadcast that message using the voice of their patient in their marketing. And that's what really helped drive that increase in new patient counts.
Man, that's awesome. So let's talk a little bit more specifically about Reputation Sensei. So there's, a lot of people listening right now and they're thinking, is this a good fit for me? What's typically a good fit to work with you and your team? Like, is it a certain size of company? Is there a certain niche? Like, where's the sweet spot for the types of businesses and or companies that get the most value out of the relationship?
So our typical clients are franchise car dealers, home service companies, automobile repair facilities, and the healthcare industry. Many clients come to us in the beginning wanting to talk about PPC, SEO, or social media, and that's where we just slow them down and ask them to take a comprehensive look at their overall reputation. Their online presence. We want them to look at their online presence. And there's so many components to an effective online presence, including your website, your search engine optimization, your social media, your reputation, even Google AdWords and local SEO. So we believe, again, that every digital strategy needs to begin with building a solid foundation on reputation and local SEO. Until you have an effective strategy in this area, and when I say this area, I mean making sure you stand out with a competitive edge in local search results. You're quite possibly losing market share to a competitor who is paying attention to this.
Man, it's all great tips, great advice, and appreciate it. The people out there listening definitely should be taking this serious. Reputation and what you're doing over at Reputation Sensei. I just think it's awesome. So that being said, Chris, if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more about Reputation Sensei or to connect with you and your team, what's the best way for them to do that?
Our website, probably the easiest place to go. It's reputationsensei.com. And there we have, resources that you can utilize to see how consumers are seeing you online. You can pull an online presence report free of charge. That's available. And we have a lot of information that really talks about our strategy specifically. We also host 2 webinars each month and really give away our strategy. You can do what we do on your own, and we reveal our strategy on our webinars. But the reality is most companies want someone to do it for them because, it does take a dedicated person typically, time and some level of expertise. And you also need some technology, but you can get technology in many places.
Fantastic. Well, Chris, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about all the great work that you're doing over at Reputation Sensei and bringing that to my audience. I think it's great what you're doing and really valuable information. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. Hope you learned something. If you did, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Definitely like you to be a return listener and guest or listener. And we have many more great guests just like Chris coming up for you. So really appreciate it. And Chris, thanks again for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Adam.